Hey y'all, it's your girl, hashtag J-Lone in the building with her big head. What's going on, y'all? So, this is my third day in a row with a video because you guys want this information. So, because I'm getting these inboxes, I feel everybody wants to know this. So, once again, it's your girl, hashtag J-Lone in the building. And today, we are going to talk about student loans. It's such a touchy topic to talk about, but it's very important to really understand student loans and how they affect you getting a home loan, because the way it was before is not the way it is now. So when I got in the business, as long as your loans were deferred or maybe you were still in school, and we could exclude that debt. But after the mortgage meltdown, they went back and they revised student loans and how they affect whether you could qualify for a home loan. So I'm going to try to go through it kind of fast because there's a lot of information and I may not give all information. So if you have questions, just inbox me. But for the most part, I'll be able to help you. So the big question is, so you have student loans. Now what? What happens to your home loan? And the main questions that I get are, or the main comments that I get are, they're deferred or I'm in forbearance, so you guys don't need to count the payment, right? Number two is I'm in an income-based repayment plan, so we can just use that, right? Or three, I'm still in school, so I'm not even making payments on my student loans, so you don't have to include those, right? So there's conventional, Fannie rules, Freddie Mac rules, VA, FHA, USDA, and every one of them all have different guidelines. So it's very important to know one thing. There's only one program that still allows you to count if your student loans are deferred. And that program is VA. But it can't just be deferred. It has to be deferred at least 12 months from your note date. So it's not from the date you close, it's from the date of your first payment out. So 12 months it has to be deferred. So if you're going to make payments in 9 months, that's not considered deferred. And once again, VA is the only program that still will allow deferred loans as long as they're deferred from 12 months from your actual note date, okay? Other than that, no other program, conventional Fannie Mae, conventional Freddie Mac, FHA, and USDA, you cannot use deferred loan payments or no payment for that matter. So I wanted to go through really quickly what they are, and I have my latest guidelines here because they do change, and so just to kind of tell you what the rules are. So once again, the only program that allows for deferments is USDA. Everyone else is going to use, well, I'm not going to say everyone else. They're the only ones that are deferred, okay? If your loan is in forbearance, then conventional Fannie Mae is going to use 1% of the actual, of the balance or actual verified payment, okay? Typically, whichever one is greater. It cannot be zero, okay? Freddie Mac changed their guidelines, I want to say last year, or the year before, don't count me on that. But last year, they changed their guidelines to they'll use the higher of 0.5% or the actual verified payment. Mind you, they said the higher of. So if the payment reported on the credit report says $50, but 0.5% of what's due is $100, lenders are to use $100, not the $50, okay? So just make sure on that. FHA, once again, is the greater of 1% of the balance shown on the credit report, or the balance shown on the credit report, or the payment shown on the credit report. Once again, it's the higher of the two. So most of them, all of the programs use 1% minus Freddie Mac, which allows for 0.5%. And VA gets a little tricky. I hate to even say it, but they're the greater of 5% of the balance shown divided by 12 monthly payments, or the actual payment. But one thing you'll find in common is that all of them say the greater of. So they're not going to let you use the lower payment. And I understand why they made this change, because think about it. If you have student loans coming due in 12 months and and that's going to be a $400 payment, and we qualify you for your home loan, what happens when the student loans come due? Can you actually afford everything? So I know why they made the change. Not that I necessarily agree with it, because I ride the fence on some scenarios, okay? So that takes care of deferred and forbearance. Then I'm in an income-based repayment plan. So there's only one program that really allows you to use an income-based repayment plan, and that's conventional Fannie Mae. And sometimes income-based repayment plans are actually zero. They're the only ones that if we can provide the documentation from the student loan company that shows that you are in an income-based repayment plan, or IBR, that you can actually not have any payment counted against your debt to income. So I'm not encouraging income-based repayment plan, but you'd have to qualify for a conventional Fannie Mae loan. Okay, so Freddie Mac is once again 0.5%. So if you're in an income-based repayment plan, it doesn't matter. They're 0.5%, or the higher of 0.5% of the balance or the actual verified payment. FHA is still 1%, the greater of 1% of the balance shown on the credit report, or the payment shown on the credit report. Once again, the greater of. VA, the same thing, 5% of the greater of, 5% of the balance shown on the credit report divided by 12 monthly payments, or the actual payment, whichever is greater. And then USDA, once again, is greater of 1% of the balance, or the verified monthly payment. Okay, so just to let you know, it's great that you're in an IBR and you don't have to make these huge student loan payments, but there's only one program that will let us use that IBR. And it has to be an active IBR, so we will ask for the paperwork for that as well. The next one is, I'm still in school. Mortgages say, so what? Great for you. Get your education. But if you want to get a student loan, all of the guidelines still pretty much apply. Okay, so FHA, the greater of 1%, or the actual verified payment. Conventional Fannie, it's just know that for the most part, student loans are going to be counted against you in some way, shape, or form. So it's very important to not think in your mind that you don't have to include deferred student loans, or you're in school, or you're not paying on them, or you're in forbearance. Just know we still would have to do it. So the best way to really see what you qualify for or how it would hurt you is to call and let us run the scenario and kind of tell you what you qualify for, and calculate that student loan. So I think I addressed all of the questions here. Let me see if there's anything on here. Payment to begin, graduated payment plans, all of these things. All in all, Freddie Mac's the greater of 0.5%, or the actual verified payment. FHA is typically the greater of 1% of the actual balance or the verified payment. Conventional Fannie Mae kind of goes around. They accept income-based repayment plans as long as you have the documentation. But for the most part, they too are 1%. And then conventional Freddie Mac is the greater of 0.5% of the actual balance or verified payment. Just remember, on all of them, it is the greater of. We cannot use the lower. So does anybody have any questions? Because the main questions that I always get is, what about student loans? What about credit? What about this? So here's one on credit. I see some of you are still on here, so thank you for watching. And it's very important to me that don't just watch it, share it, because people don't know this information. They get all hyped up to buy a house, and then they come and they find out, bam, we cannot exclude the student loan. So this is very important because everybody's going to school, everybody's getting their education, and it's important to know this. So let me say hello to whoever's on here for right now. So hey, Bill. Hey, James. What's up, Cheryl? Lisa, Fred, Bernie, Kim, Daphne. What's up, girl? Rosa, Dan the man, Dave Kohler. How are you? And then Carrie, how are you? So if you have any questions about student loans, just put it in here. I'll stay on here for a little bit and I guess talk to you guys for a little bit. But if you have any questions, I'm trying to scroll up right now, but I can't. So if you have any questions, just put it on here and then I can answer them. If not, of course, you can always inbox me either on Facebook or you can text me. My cell phone number is 817-601-5456. And I can answer any questions about student loans. But I'll tell you right now, student loans are probably... next to credit, student loans are the #1 reason why a lot of people do not qualify for home loans. So it's sad, but it's true. Student loans definitely make your debt to income high. And, you know, I see student loans that range anywhere from a $10,000 balance to doctors and PhDs that are $150,000 or more. So just think about having to use 1% or 0.5% of that could throw your debt to income off and not help you to qualify for that. So, you know, it is what it is. I'm happy to help however I may. So I don't see any questions on here. So if you have any questions, of course, I'm happy to help you. It's your girl, #JLone. And as always, I'm so happy to help you. Check me out. Go like my page. It's at the J Loan on Facebook or at Jeanette the Loan Officer. Look at my new signs. Oh, where is it? Where are you at? Okay, here he goes. So at the J Loan or at Jeanette the Loan Officer, you can like my page where I post all of these videos. If you could please like and share this video. Once again, I do loans all in the state of Texas and all in the state of Florida. And I'm so happy to help you. Okay, so if you don't have any questions, I'm about to sign out and I get out of here. So have a blessed day and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.